Hi, welcome to Stir Crazy. I'm Patrick Fogarty and I'm here in the fabulous Plymouth Gin Distillery in Plymouth. Happy Christmas. You would have got your Christmas cracker by now, which is the one with the purple ribbon, and this will be your Plymouth Gin cocktail. What we're doing today is we're doing a riff on an amazing classic cocktail from the original drink, which was the Negroni cocktail, and we turned up the Christmas hilt on this by 1,000. So what you will have when you open your cracker is 3 little bits. You will have a dehydrated orange wheel, you will also have your Aperol and your Plymouth Sloe gin in one bottle, and then you will have your mulled spice vermouth in the other bottle. I'll get onto those in a minute, but what I want you to do first and foremost is, firstly, just at the beginning, we want to prep the liquids. Because it's a hot drink, it's a winter warmer, what we want you to do is get some hot water and put it into a heat receptacle. I'm using a metal mixing jug here. I've filled this with hot water and I'm just going to pop the bottles in there, and this will heat the liquid without diluting it too much. This is really essential so that we get a really nice continuously hot drink when we add a little bit more hot water to it later. So I'm just going to put that to one side for the moment and let that just steep in the hot water for about 3-4 minutes. The other thing we need to do is we need to get our glassware. We're using a Georgian Irish coffee glass. These are the original Irish coffee glasses. They're about 7-8 ounces in volume, so a small wine glass would do, a Nick and Nora glass would do. If you want to use a rocks glass, you can use it as well, but make sure it's heat proofed. The beauty of this being an Irish coffee glass, of course it's heat proof, so it's not going to shatter if we add hot water to it. So I'm just going to prep the glass by adding a bit of hot water into that, just so it heats the glass up as well. There's nothing worse than putting hot liquid into a cold glass. And again, this will stop that drink from, the hot drink when we pour it in, from shattering. It's a very simple drink. The Negroni is one of these great classic drinks that, when made, is of 3 equal parts. So it's of gin, Campari, and of the vermouth, sweet vermouth. And it's that easy. You stir it down over ice. It's a great summer cocktail, but it's not really drank in the wintertime. So what we want to do is create this drink. We wanted to create a lovely, rich autumnal fruit that is the slowberry. This slowberry is one of these great things that grows all over the West Country here, in our hedgerows and all over Europe. It's basically a member of the blackthorn family. If you ever go on and pick them, you need good gloves, because this thing shreds your hands, but they are absolutely delicious. And you can make sloe gin at home, but why bother when you've got one of the best in the world right at your fingertips to buy? And we can't recommend enough Plymouth Gin's sloe gin, and it is really rich. You can see the colour on it, how much intensity of flavour is packed into that bottle of gin. And obviously with a base spirit that is as good as Plymouth Gin's, well, what can you do? You can't go wrong with it. It has this rich candied fruit of black cherry and a little bit of spice and vanilla in there as well, and almost a touch of almonds in sloes. So it has this lovely, lovely flavour that comes through, and it sort of tastes just like Christmas. And you can just heat this up on its own and just put it with a little bit of hot water, and you add that together as a drink for Christmas. It is just full of flavour. But obviously we wanted to use this as our base for the winter cocktail. So we're in this home, we're in this amazing bar with all these amazing spirits and awards behind me from Plymouth Gin. And what is Plymouth Gin? Why is it called Plymouth Gin, not a London Dry Gin? And it used to be a domain appellation controllee, which meant that it had its own specific region, which was Plymouth. And that's no longer there. It's now a trademark brand, and it is phenomenal. It is quintessential. It's one of those gins that has been absolutely critical to the history of the cocktail. So much so that when Harry Craddock wrote his cocktail book, the Savoy cocktail book, at an amazing bar, the American bar, in the 1930s, there were 27 cocktails that specified absolutely by name to use Plymouth Gin. And there's very few cocktail books that will specify a name so much. It is that good, it's that iconic. And it has such history, and it's like, the history of this building alone that we're standing in dates back 400 years plus, and it comes back to Dominican monks who wore their black cassocks and robes, and they were called the Black Friars, and that's why this distillery we're in is called the Black Friars Distillery. And this year we have a big landmark that's happened in 2020. It's the 400th anniversary of the Mayflower setting sail to America, taking the Pilgrims over there. And this is kind of shown on the bottle here, where you've got the Mayflower boat on there. And they say that when the Mayflower runs dry, you need to order another bottle. So it's been 400 years. 2020 is 400th anniversary, and obviously all of those big plans that were happening this year are no longer happening. But there are still things going on, and we can still celebrate it at home with a bottle of Plymouth gin. And it is one of these great things down here that this gin distillery, it started in 1793. And that makes it the oldest gin distillery in England. And that heritage is, we've got to be proud of it. And there's been people drinking this all over the world for 2 centuries now plus. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make our cocktail, and we're going to put the ingredients together so that we can have something to drink, because that's what you're here for. So my glass should be nice and warm now, so I'm going to discard that away. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lose the water out of that now. Now the temperature now of my liquid should be the same as my glass. And so the nice thing is with this is that, yeah, lovely rich and warm. And so all I need to do is pour this in. Now this is undiluted, so we will need to cut it back a bit, and we pour the first bottle in, which is that lovely Plymouth Sloe gin and that Aperol. And then we're going to add in our mulled vermouth. So in that mulled vermouth, what have we done? We've taken a Martini Reserva and Rubino, and what we've done is we've steeped it with all those Christmas spices. So we've used those winter citrus, those sort of things like clementines and things like that. We put that in there, we put lemon, we put other citrus in there with lime. We've then steeped into that some cloves, some anise, and it just richly sings at Christmas. Now what I need to do is I just need a little bit more hot water. Now, I'm lucky I've got a tap that sends out boiling hot water, but just use some from the kettle, and that will be fine as well. And so I'm just going to let that run for a little bit, pour a little bit in as well. And I'm just going to bring this to the top of the glass. And it's about 50 to 75 ml we want to add on there. And then all we need to do, you can actually, in the room here, the room has just exploded with aromas. And so as a result, we can just pop that on top, and all of those rich winter spices now, it feels really Christmassy now. And it's, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to say Happy Christmas again. Oh my Lord. So that is just what you need for sitting in front of the Christmas fire, drowning out the sound of kids screaming, and have a few of those and you're in bliss. And that is just delicious. I can just, all those flavors just rolling off. Now, one of the lovely things with vermouth is it's already jam-packed full of herbs and spice flavor. So it really, those extra spices we put into there, they just add that Christmassy touch to what is already a very spicy drink anyhow. The Aperol gives a nice sweet bitter orange flavour to it as well, which is lovely. But the one thing that shines more than anything here is the Plymouth Slowberry. And it is that lovely little bit of almond on the back of the palate. It's that lovely, rich, dark cherry, almost Black Forest cherry flavour that you get singing across your tongue the whole time. And yeah, I mean, what better place for me to actually drink these cocktails and make these cocktails in the home of Plymouth Gin as well. I mean, we're in an amazing setting. It's got lovely, rich red walls in here that are very Christmassy as well. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. And it's one of the things that I highly, highly recommend. First of all, buy yourself Plymouth Gin. It should be in everyone's cabinet at home. For Christmas, definitely have this on your shopping list. If you want a perfect Christmas present for someone, this is it as well. And the other nice thing about it is that you can do tour visits here as well. They're still doing them at the moment. Hopefully they'll do them through the whole winter, but they are on shorter numbers down here. So highly recommend booking it. It is an absolute rich piece of British heritage down here in Plymouth. And yeah, I couldn't wish for anything more for Christmas. I'm going to wish you again Joyeux Noël and Happy Christmas. Thank you.